doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My deal is government should, I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, and sit together and agree to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. It's Inside Nigeria for Monday, September 27, 2021. And of course, as usual, I'm here with my co-anchor, Winifred Ogbebo. Winifred, good morning.
Good morning, viewers out there. Thank you so much for keeping faith with us and being on our program today on the Inside Nigeria. I hope you had a beautiful weekend.
Sure.
I did.
Sure, I did too.
But I hope you rested too.
Yeah, I slept well. And viewers can see our regular analyst, Jibrin Baba Indache, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst and journalist with the Blueprint newspaper. Good morning, Indache.
It's my pleasure to be here once again. My sister is good
It's
to
a
see
pleasure. It's always a pleasure hosting
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Winifred, like I tell you every other time, there are issues inside Nigeria to talk about.
So many.
So many. We can't even address them all. But as usual, newspapers are mirroring some of them.
Yes.
And this is what we're going to bring to the listening delight of our viewers at this morning. And of course, as usual, we are starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership, this morning, we can't build a nation with bigotry, nepotism, according to the Northern Governors Forum. Nigeria at 61, we can't build a nation with bigotry, nepotism, according to the Northern Governors Forum. The governors warn against defining people based on religion, tribe, said marketing Nigeria comes with great consequences. And of course, vision of united country undefeated, according to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In that we have about 3-4 days to Nigeria's independence anniversary. Nigeria at 61, and already political leaders are setting tone.
Yes, but this is what is expected of political leaders. Like we say here and even on other platforms, what the leaders say, high network individual, politicians and other influencers, is what the media report. For instance, if they have said something contrary to this, it will still be reported. That is why it's important. Leadership comes with responsibility. Once you get to a certain level, there are certain things that you don't say, because what you say have a lot of impact on the society, what people think about it, how people view it, for instance. And I'm glad the Northern Governor, the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, Governor Samuel Lalong, and again from the rider, the Vice President already setting the tone. I think this is very important. This is key as we celebrate yet another independence. This is very refreshing, and I hope that other players will take a cue rather than lamentation. No nation is perfect. Every country, every family is working in progress. We have our challenges, no doubt. But you look at countries that have been in existence for 200 years, for more, some for much more than that. They face problems. What is important is that how do countries reinvent themselves, and how do leaders at each particular period try to connect with the people and send the right message that will give hope to the citizens. I think this is very important, because our major challenge as a nation is the issues that have been raised, looking at issues based on religion or tribe and ethnicity, and every point, issues that bother us, like we said even in the last program, issues of when somebody has health challenge, it's the doctor that will treat him will not look at him based on ethnicity or religion, using roads, using good schools and other things, so we need to emphasize those things that ordinary Nigerians are looking for, not issues that we amplify or will position people for certain political gain. And I think, again, the Vice President has also talked about it. The vision of a united Nigeria is something that all of us must embrace. I think it's on this program that I said it. Every prediction about Nigeria have failed. Every prediction. Long before we were born, Bode, all the books I've read, at independence, some people didn't give Nigeria a chance to stay 5 years. Some didn't give the opportunity to stay 10 years, some 20 years. And even in the last 20 years since the return of democracy, there have been negative prediction about Nigerians' breakup. All have not come to pass, as you said. So we have faced challenges and we will continue to face challenges as a nation. But what is important is that how do we overcome those challenges? And most importantly, leaders must also have learned lessons. What are the steps that we are taking in the past? You know, for instance, yes, the governor have said it about religion and tribe, but what are those steps that we take as a nation, you know, that we make our country whole again, that gives citizens sense of belonging? Because no matter what we say, the right thing must be done. Nigerians of all religion, of all tribes, if somebody graduate, what is our access to health, access to education, access to job, employment? Somebody graduate from the university, he doesn't have access to job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you know that there are people are getting this job. Who are they? Are they from another country? What does he or she needs to do to get this job? These are the things that we must all look at as a nation. So, but more importantly, political players must understand that they have a responsibility. Leadership comes with a responsibility. You can't just talk. You are a governor, you are a president, you are a vice president, or local government chairman, member of House of Representatives. You should know that what you say will vibrate beyond your own corner. For instance, he is the governor of a Plateau State, but he's not even speaking as the governor of Plateau State, speaking as chairman of the umbrella body. And what he has said now is not just reverberating here in Nigeria, but all around the world. You know, people will say that yes, despite the challenges of Nigeria, the governor is giving hope on behalf of his own representative, the way the vice president has done. And one thing with the two of them here, they have been consistent with all sense of humility. The vice president has been consistent wherever he speaks. It is about Nigeria. It's about a better Nigeria, united Nigeria. The same thing with Governor Plateau State Governor, even before he became the chair of the governor. And I know that he took some steps in the state in peace building process that since 2015 until recently there haven't been any crisis in Nigeria, in the state.
Okay, and actually, if you look at the front page photo of leadership this morning, you see a photo of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and a Plateau-based Imam Abubakar Abdullahi.
The famous Imam.
Yes, he was honored by Christian Association of Nigeria yesterday at an interdenominational service to mark Nigeria's 61 and also to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the association.
You see, let me come to that, Bode and my sister. These are the people that should be singular for celebration.
In fact, he was a joint winner of leadership person of the year.
Of course. I remember in 2019, other papers and all of that. Yeah, so you see, Bode, you don't have to be a political player to be celebrated. No matter how ordinary we may think somebody is, if you feel that person has contributed positively to unity, progress, peace, and prosperity of this nation, it should be identified and celebrated so that can encourage others. It doesn't mean that until somebody is in political office, is appointed or elected, that is when you remember such person. And I feel that, you know, remembering a man, you know, honoring a man like this is something that is very, very profound and unique in a way. And I'm glad that his position has been consistent and others have recognized him, you know, which lead to this current recognition. Mark you, Bode, the metaphor of this is that it's not an Islamic organization that honored him.
Yeah,
it is Christian Association of Nigeria. So this message will reverberate beyond the shore of Nigeria. That is the import of it. So all players, religious leaders, traditional rulers must understand that we have a responsibility. Look, but let me tell you, no matter what anybody say, nobody will accept you in any country more than this country. Let us stay here. If there are challenges, let's find a way to resolve it.
Exactly.
We have been, all of us here, we've been like many Nigeria built to some of the best countries in the world. You go to America, it's not a perfect system. You go to India, as the India, you know, as important as it is now as one of the economy, India is not a country that have no, as you said, it's all free of any challenges. So Nigeria is not the only nation that is facing challenges. As we call on our leaders to continue to take this step, you know, when I talk about the vice president, you have not talked about this picture. He's been consistent. I follow his speeches and all of that. The same to the governor of Plateau. So a governor or any political officer that appointed or elected should not grandstand, but it's important that leaders don't grandstand. When you grandstand, you are sending a wrong message and sending a wrong agenda. That is very important.
All right, thank you so much, Leadership. From Leadership newspaper, we move over to the sister publication, National Economy. And on National Economy today, it says, navigational equipment theft threatens vessel safety on Nigeria's waterways. Navigational equipment theft threatens vessel safety on Nigeria's waterways.
This is very, very surprising against the backdrop that we just commissioned the Deep Blue project, a multi-million-dollar project to secure our waterways. Well, to provide more insights to this story is the national economy correspondent in Lagos, Yusuf Babalola. Yusuf, are you with us? All right, Yusuf.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Yusuf. How is Lagos this morning?
Yes, Lagos is fine, and it's full of the hustle and the bustle.
All right. Yeah, you wrote this report. Navigational equipment test threatens vessel safety on Nigeria's airways. So, Yusuf, if you have this situation at the port, what is the position of the just inaugurated the Deep Blue project for security, for maritime security?
Yes, it shows that we still have a long way to go. And the Deep Blue project is something that is all-encompassing. It's not about piracy alone. They need to maybe re-strategize, and we should know that it's not about piracy alone. We have people who are also threatening our navigational vessel navigation, and this portends bad signal for the country internationally, because I don't know why the boys is like going to the road and stealing traffic lights. It's like going to the road and destroying traffic signs, because on the waterways there are different type of depths. It is boys that will tell you can navigate through this side. It is boys that will tell you this side is dangerous. But when you go there to steal it, that means you are putting vessels you are putting them in harm's way, because they can run aground, and when they run aground, that's the billions of naira investment that will go down. So most of these people that do these things, I don't know what they're gaining from it, but like a stakeholder said, if there are no buyers, definitely the vandalism won't continue. But because people are buying it, then who are those buying it? And this navigational aid is not something me and you can go and steal. It needs expertise. First of all, you must be able to swim, because it's in the middle of the water. Middle of the water. You go there, you steal it. Those are the things that causes accident, both accidents at night. The one on the inland waterways are stolen. The one on the coastal waters are also stolen. So these are what causes accidents. These are what causes wrecks, because at times wreck might be somewhere. You will know. Your ship will just climb over it, and before you know it, your ship run aground. So this calls for serious attention from government. And the Deep Blue project, like you said, we also need to do something about it. We also need to look at the fact that Deep Blue project is not about piracy alone. It's also about people threatening navigational safety.
Okay. Thank you so much, Yusuf.
All right, Yusuf, you need to stay with us. There is another story we would like you to talk about in a few minutes. So stay with us. Well, okay. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we discuss the top paper on our menu this morning, which is the blueprint.
doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My bill is government should, I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, we sit together and appeal to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So it is support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria, Monday, September 27, 2021. And of course, we are talking about navigational theft at the nation port, which is now a threat to vessels on our nation's waterways, not highway, waterways. Now, Jibril, you are very, very conversant with security matters. I asked our correspondent in Lagos that what is the place of the multi-million-dollar Deep Blue project? Despite this project, and we are still recording this. What is your own take?
Well, it's very sad and unfortunate because one, no common criminal will have the capacity and the audacity.
The reporter just said that.
Like the reporter says. So there is a failure in certain aspect of how this is what led to this. But what I will say is that one, the management, the safety, security and safety of our maritime domain, the lead agency all over the world is the Nigerian Navy, who now is in charge of the Deep Blue Water project. How are the agencies working together to secure our maritime domain? Is there interagency rivalry? Are there issues around that? So these are questions that we must ask ourselves about it, because you see, we cannot invest billions of naira to secure our maritime domain, and then we're talking about some people going to go and see this. These things are not done in a vacuum. Is that some criminal element or people have certain interests?
Yes.
Are the one, because or not knowledge of what the risk involved, and all. So it's not going to be a petty thief or an ordinary, because one, where is he going to sell the vessel? Exactly. So this is pure. It may even be pure vandalization, not necessarily to go and sell the equipment, but toward making it impossible for it to function. Yes. So we must ask the right question. How well had all the stakeholders within this space working together? Because to the best of my knowledge, one of the challenges in Nigeria is that one, interagency rivalry within the areas, domains that are supposed to be secured by certain elements. For instance, in the Nigerian water, the Nigerian Navy, like all over the world, sea power and all over the world is led by the Nigerian Navy, by navies all over the world. And a country like Nigeria that has very large littoral, is a littoral state, the Navy, we are not a navy of a landlocked country. So the Navy must always, forget, it's not about one regime thinking of this or the other. It should be institutional, no matter how much, because there are issues with the other. You see, for instance, maybe agencies under Ministry of Transport like NEMA, NEMASA, or maybe NPA buying helicopter and all of that. In other part of the world, is that the institution? Is that the best practice? Is that so? These are the questions that we must ask ourselves. Are the right people allowed to do the right thing?
That is very, very
when you invest billions of naira, what is the capacity of even the system that this is investing to? And we are saying this with all sense of responsibility.
And that's I think you have raised a very salient point. Yes. Whether the civil authorities like the Ministry of Transportation is supposed to be in charge of the Deep Blue project or the Navy Authority for optimal performance. Well, I think the authorities concerned with this thing.
That is why we're saying it here.
The right thing in order to reverse this trend of theft at the nation ports. Because of time, Winifred, we need to move to the next newspaper. And before the next paper, I think it is important we tell our listeners that Leadership, Fashion and Lifestyle magazine is out. The second edition, which is a bi-weekly publication. In the Sunday edition of Leadership, the book is out. It's
Yeah,
potpourri of a fashion
you see, Bode, and
story.
I'm glad that
Glossy.
you see, in the past, when you talk about fashion, you only think of women,
No.
but
Yeah.
the trend has changed.
can
I
see
think that today there are Nigerian men. There are Nigerian
Yes.
men, if you permit me, there are Nigerian men that are even more fashionable and have more
Than
dress
women,
even
yeah.
than women today.
Yeah,
So,
I can see
yeah,
both
so-
of you.
so-
are well,
so-
you are
so-
well toned out.
yeah, so today we want to look more trendy. We all want to look presentable and all of that because we're in the age of reinvention of branding. So, and I'm glad that Levoga is back, and I hope that we'll get the best of it. Brand sustenance is very important all over the world. Brand should leave the vision, and like was said at the event of the leadership. So I'm glad that it's back, and I hope there's a space for everybody, fashion,
Yes.
men, women, and all of that. We should all take a look and
Yeah.
find styles.
Yeah, it's all glossy
Yeah.
for men, for women.
Yeah.
It's all here. It's all glossy.
Well,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Don't be left out. Ask for your vendor
Copy.
for a copy of the
Yes.
vote in the Sunday edition of Leadership, and it's a bi-weekly publication. The next 2 weeks, another edition will be in the Sunday. Now, quickly, let's look at what is on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Blueprint, your paper. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so
Your
much for
security,
our paper.
yeah.
You look at the issue of banditry, kidnapping, and others around.
And unfortunately, FCT community
Yes,
is resorting
FCT
to
community. You
defense.
see, Bode. One of our major challenge, not just here, 36 states and the FCT. There's too much concentration of development on the city centers. With only you leave Abuja, leave Metama, leave Asokoro, Jabi, Utako, and the major city and go to satellite town. What are the facilities that are there? Are there facilities that are befitting of satellite town of Federal Capital? You go to states after you leave state capital. How are the links and facility linking the state capital and even local government, or from local government to rural community? That is why you have so many ungoverned spaces. That is why, and this have security challenge. The more you open up an area, the more difficult it becomes for criminals to operate. But when you live here, you are going to settle even within FCT. There are places ungoverned spaces. There are no facilities, and this is FCT. We are only focused on the city center. I think that has to change. And satellite towns, local, which are development areas like local government, there has to be change of that. I'm happy that, of course, as bad as some people may think it is, the vigilante groups are come to stay. Because we have to own our own security. We are dealing with criminal non-state actors that live among the people. It is not like the past, when communities will safeguard, assist the security agencies to safeguard their own community. It will be difficult for criminals to just invade community. Somebody, for instance, a criminal with one gun will go and intimidate 100 people. At least, we are not saying that people should take the law into their hand, but we should find a way that at least criminals, one criminal or two, don't just come around to come and intimidate community. So the years of laissez-faire attitude is over. This idea that security is for security agencies is over. We have to own our own security. We have to complement our security agencies, because security, the criminals now live among the people. When somebody move, especially for satellite town, a move just come in the afternoon, he is so well dressed, he's not doing anything, he's spending money in the night, don't know where he is, or after 1 week or 2 weeks he goes out and he's spending money, no meaningful means of income, and nobody will ask questions. We shouldn't live in a country or community like that. Things have changed. We have to change with time. So I hope that this, with all the residents, what they are doing, it's not necessarily the right thing, but every community have to take some aspect of defending themselves. You go to the northeast, civilian JTF have been assisting in the last couple of years, complementing the effort of the security agency, but they should not undermine the role of security agencies.
And if I'm forgetting, but you forgot. Did you read the report that the northwest governors, they are arming their pulling resources together for 3,000
vigilante in the Northwest.
That's why I said the vigilante group has come to stay. It's just that they should work within the stipulated rules and regulation. Any community that wants vigilante must work with the security agencies to ensure that they work closely with them in setting up their vigilante group. Otherwise, this has come to stay. But there's one issue that I'm passionate about, and it's on second lead on blueprint.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. The road blockade at Niger State.
Yes. It's also in leadership,
which is a major road linking the Northwest and the Southwest Nigeria.
But that has security implications.
Of course.
Niger State is just like a satellite town in the FCT when you look at countries like United States of America and other part of communities that surround them. Therefore, the federal government must think differently about Niger State. It's very important. Niger State has the largest landmass in Nigeria.
It does.
It's almost the size of the entire southeastern Nigeria. The road in the last, of course, having worked with the president.
It's more than the size.
Yes. So the blockade is in the 5th day now. 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No nation can afford that in terms of national security implication, in terms of economic implication, and all other social, political, and all of that of the society. I want. And you see, Nigerites, and I'm speaking the mind of some Nigerites now, they feel that the federal government is not fair to Nigerites because for a very long time, at least in the last 6 years, but at least when I was there as Chief Press Secretary, I knew the effort the current governor did in reaching out to the Minister of Transport, then Babatunde Fashola, who was also a former governor, to the Vice President, and at a point, the governor-led delegation of Nigerites, who in Nigeria to visit the president. One of the issues that was request was road in Nigeria, road network, and Barrow and other issues. But in the last 6 years, there is no road that has been completed by federal government. What is the distance between Lambata and Lapai and Vida that federal government cannot focus and repair, at least to say.
I can see you are very passionate about this.
No, but
and we don't have time.
But we had the past governor of the state, though he's late now, as the MD of FM, and then talking about the former governor.
No, we're talking about the present. We're talking about the present.
Each administration. The past many years that they have not been.
No, I'm talking in the last 6 years. There have been award of contract of road. But at least in the last 6 years, there's no federal road in Niger State that has been completed.
All right, many thanks to you.
Sorry, we are in a hurry because we have our guests.
We spend 30 minutes. And for the second segment, Professor Usman Yusuf, a Nigerian professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation, will be joining us on the state of the nation shortly after this break.
Yes, please. Le Vogue magazine is back in a big way, bigger and better than before. Hadiza, could you please join us here? Hadiza and members of Adam, please. Your attention is needed here. So Le Vogue is back and bigger, demonstrating the fact that despite the demise of the visioner, the vision continues and continues to grow. What else does a man want than that you have lived and your legacies remain and keep growing stronger?
He would just lift it up and then you just lift it.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure and privilege to ask His Royal Majesty, the Sultan of Sokoto, the chairman or chairperson of the leadership group, to come forward and join me and hold on to one bit of this cloth so that we can jointly unveil the bigger, better, deeper Le Vogue.
Welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria. And of course, we're done with the newspaper review segment. And now we are having a focal discussion on the state of the nation. And of course, we are being joined by Professor Usman Yusuf, like I said earlier, a professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. Professor, good morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Professor, you will not be talking about health matters this morning. You'll be talking generally on the state of the nation. And of course, you know, Nigerians, you are very, very popular. Nigerians have been seeing you writing in the newspapers and talking on television about insecurity and the rest of them, particularly banditry in the northwest part of the nation. Now, you are of the view that the ongoing military offensive in the northwest is not a solution to the banditry challenge. So what exactly do you think is the solution to the menace of banditry in the northwest?
No, I'm not saying the ongoing operation is not the solution. Okay. All I'm cautioning the state, the military, and the nation is that there's a role for the military, but there is no military solution to banditry in Nigeria, period. If anybody tells you differently, he either doesn't know what he's talking about or he knows, but he's been disingenuous. So there is definitely a role for the military, but we need to be strategic. That's the point I'm making. And we know if we, there's a lot of intelligence out there from work done by researchers, from this report by the former IGP, MD Abubakar, who himself is from Zamfara, he's from Gusau. It was instituted by the current governor in 2029 when he came. They looked at this report. They looked at banditry in Zamfara from 2011, June 2011 to May 2019. And I recommend this to everybody in leadership, military or political, and everybody in Nigeria to understand the origin of banditry in Zamfara state, the causes of banditry, who are involved, and what they recommended. This is an excellent report, and I'm really, really very surprised that we are where we are because leadership has not read that report.
Wow, leadership has not read that report. Does this also include some of the findings you discovered during your trip to the forest while accompanying the popular Kaduna-based Islamic cleric Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Kumi to the bandits in the forest? Does it also include the findings you discovered?
Yeah, what it did is, when I said leadership, I didn't mean leadership.
I know, the leadership of the country.
We know. So I mean, we know what you mean.
The findings.
No.
Clearly, is it part of the report?
Absolutely. I didn't see this report until yesterday. And what it did was just open my eyes and reaffirm what we have been saying all through. That number one, insecurity is caused by corruption and bad governance. This twin, corruption and bad governance, mostly by politicians. This mess in Zamfara and banditry is essentially brought about by politicians. And the military is now calling to clean up the mess of politicians. And that banditry is essentially a social problem that Nigeria is increasingly militarizing.
Okay.
Politicians brought this mess, soldiers are brought in to clean the mess. It's a social problem. If we do not address the social problem, we can bring 1 million soldiers who will never solve the problem because soldiers are not trained to sort out this mess. So unless we take care of the original problem, the real problem, address real issue. And another thing, we've always said it, problems are local.
Yes.
Solutions are always local. So these big plans coming from Abuja without consulting the locals will never work. Have never worked, will never work. So bringing big boots, guns, and to Canada this, to Canada without talking to the people will not work. If you do not take care of real problem, consult with the real people. This is the point I'm making.
But some of these state governors have made attempts in the past to talk, with these bandits, and even granted them amnesty. But we still see that the situation when they came back again.
Good. So, and I said it. So when dialogues break down, there is always a reason for it breaking down. More often than not, it is a party reneging. And most of the time, we've seen both sides reneging. But most importantly, the bandits have been dishonorable. Well, we've seen that. We are the very first to say that. We've sat down and met bandits in all this place. In the forests of Niger, there were commanders from 6 states assembled for the Sheikh in the forest. We're talking thousands of bandits under leadership. They've never assembled for any politician or any soldier. We have been to places where nobody has been, soldier or politician. Assemble, we met these people. We listened to them. The purpose of Sheikh Gumi's visit was essentially to listen. Martin Luther King says, violence is the language of the unheard. We are over-militarizing security. Any security problem, we say, soldier, soldier. No. Hunger is a security issue. Poverty is a security issue. Illiteracy is a security issue. Lack of school, our schools are not. And you expect security, there is never going to be any security in any society with so much inequity. Government must invest in the people rather than investing in the military. That's the point I'm making.
All right, Professor, you said social problem created by the politician. You just mentioned about two, hunger, unemployment, and the rest. But I want to refresh your memory that President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration have over time claimed to provide jobs for teeming youth, build schools and the rest of them, social investment programs and the rest of them. And would you say all these government policies are not having any impact on the populace in the last 6 years?
Right, good. So where are they? Somebody needs to show me where they are. I'm from Katsina. A third of my state is under siege by bandits. We have never seen IDPs before this government. So what infrastructure do we have in Katsina? I'm talking locally. And I want everybody to go and look locally. So forget the propaganda. Let's look at realities of our people. In Zamfara State, there is this academic from Usman Danfodio University that publishes 10-year research from 2011 to 2021 bandits in Zamfara State. His name is Dr. Murtala Rufai. You need to invite him here to educate the world. Bunch of intelligence. He has said there are over 120 gangs, these bandit gangs in 6 states. There are, each of the gang has over 500 AK-47s. So if you multiply 50 by 120, you're talking about 60,000 AK-47 in the hands of bandits in 6 northern states of Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, Kaduna, and Niger. And 12,000 people, 12,000 persons have been murdered by these bandits in 10 years in Zamfara State. And we're talking 120 villages have been decimated. And in Zamfara State, over 10 years, we have 50,000 IDPs. And 250,000 heads of cattle have been rustled. So here you are in a country where in the center they are talking about taking 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years, when our rural people have been taken deeper into poverty every day of their lives. So let's be real. The reality is our people are suffering. What's happening in Zamfara? It's humanitarian crisis unfolding around the areas of Shinkafi, Zurmi, and Kaura Namoda. People People have been locked indoors, no going to the markets, there is no food. Bandits are continuing to attack them, to get food out of them and kill and rape in this neighborhood. There are not enough soldiers there to do two things that are important for soldiers to do. Number one, protect the population or engage the bandits. They do neither because they don't have the number. So we have humanitarian crisis unfolding in these areas in Zamfara that the federal government needs to address. And the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, she's from that neighborhood. She's from Zulmi. The federal government, the president needs to direct her to send humanitarian aid to these areas today, not tomorrow. People are suffering. Women are dying. Children are dying. There are divorces. Husbands are leaving their family because there's nothing to eat. This is serious. We must think about humanity, not just throwing bombs. Yes, we want these criminals to be decimated. We go there and engage them.
All right, Professor, let's talk about political leadership and responsibility. Talking about directing the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to send assistance to people in Zamfara. Now, Abuja is far away from Zamfara State. We have a government in place in Zamfara State. Are they actually up to task? Are they responsible? Because these are governors you see every now and then in Abuja, attending one governors forum or one meeting, while people are suffering. So is it always about Abuja or the government at the state level?
Good. You remember I told you problems are local?
Yes.
Solutions are local.
Yes.
Big Abuja plan will not work. These governors run to the president go back home and take care of your problem. Where is the governor of Zamfara today as we speak? He's in New York. And the state is burning. And that report indicted all the three previous governors. In fact, recommended one for prosecution from 1999 till date as the cause of banditry. And some of the emirs, and some of the political leaders, and some of the local government chairmen, and some police officers, and some military officers too. So what I want to tell the president is that Zamfara cannot save itself. Zamfara is a political mess. Zamfara has infected the whole region and the whole country. And this is a national emergency. The federal government should not leave this banditry to Zamfara. We have seen it over the years, 20 years that it started, it spread all over, and it's going all over, crossing the border. The president must, as a matter of urgency, take charge and knock some heads and get involved in the Zamfara issue. The issues are primarily political and social. The reason I say that 2023 is coming, it's going to get worse. Because these politicians will use these bandits like they've been using them before, and there'll be more killing to our people. The president should not fold his arm. The president needs to take charge. Those politicians in Zamfara are the reasons we are the state where we are today. So it's not a military solution. Military are just dumped in there to take care of social problems that they are not trained to do and they cannot do.
So, sir, in a nutshell, how do we get out of this logjam?
We get out of this logjam by everybody getting involved. By first of all being honest with ourselves. If this is not a military, there is place for the military, no military solution. Everybody must be involved. The federal government must be fully involved and look at that report and see how we can bring this this banditry to an end. There are those bandits that you need to go and decimate and take care of them. Do it strategically. Protect our population and send humanitarian aid to our people.
All right, we've been talking to Professor Usman Yusuf, a professor of rheumatology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. He has been speaking with us on the state of the nation. We need to go on a short break. When we come back, we will take the discussion to another level. We'll be right back.
Yes, please. Le Vogue magazine is back in a big way, bigger and better than before. Hadiza, could you please join us here? Hadiza and members of Adam, please. Your attention is needed here. So Le Vogue is back and bigger, demonstrating the fact that despite the demise of the visioner, the vision continues and continues to grow. What else does a man want than that you have lived and your legacies remain and keep growing stronger?
He will just lift it up and then you just lift it.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure and privilege to ask His Royal Majesty, the Sultan of Sokoto, the chairman or chairperson of the leadership group, to come forward and join me and hold on to one bit of this cloth so that we can jointly unveil the bigger, better, deeper Le Vogue.
Welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria, Monday, September 27, 2021. Of course, we are still with Professor Usman Yusuf, a professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. He's still with you on the studio, dissecting the state of the nation. Professor, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, my colleague will take you on the politics of 2023.
We want to talk politics now, Professor. And, at least you are privy to what has been a front burner since. And, of course, the certain governors, they are clamoring that presidency should shift to the south. Why the Northern Leaders Forum are saying no, it should be on the performance or excellence with it. So, what is your take on petitioner presidency?
Good. I wrote a paper the other time, and I don't know if you got it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
The title of the paper, these governors met in Asaba, right? The first.
Yes.
And then they met in Lagos and said, all right, the next president must come from the south. And I wrote a paper. The title of the paper was Lagos Declaration, a case study in political naivety. This is pure political naivety, pure. So you're going to threaten, hey, North, if you don't give us presidency, and then I ask, what will happen? I ask, oh, you don't get presidency in the South, so what? What will happen? You haven't told us, you haven't finished the statement. Say the next president must come from the North, from the South, but you didn't tell us, oh, what? So I say they're all politically naive. Naive. They don't know politics. You want us to vote for you? You are threatening us? Your youth are insulting us? Insulting our heritage? Insulting all that is important to us? You want us to vote for you? I say they are naive because they don't know politics. Politics that were reaching out and networking. Right?
Yes.
There is nowhere in the Constitution where it says rotation, rotation, rotation. None. And all these politicians wanted to rotate to their pocket, not to the people.
Not to the people.
Yes. The biggest problem of Nigerians, you need to hear this. The biggest problems are your governors.
Yes.
Your governors, not your president. Every month, 40-something% of the revenue is given to, they say, states. No, it's not given to states, it's given to 36 individuals. They have the key to the treasury. The governor in the state has more power to do and undo than the president. They do whatever they do, they like. All the 36 states. Their idea of development is building flyovers and tarmacs, not investing in their people. When we were growing up, we didn't have all those flyovers, all those tarmacs. Leaders of the time invested in us, people, and many of these governors who are governors, we went to school together, invested in us. That's why we're able to come to this studio and talk and be productive in this nation. So for any governor now to tell you, you must do this, they've all failed, all of them. Every state must hold their governor responsible. It's a bunch of failure all through 36 states. So to cover their failure, they say, oh yeah, we must get the presidency, we must get the president. And guess what our local and northern governors are doing? Oh, there is insecurity in our land. Yeah. But all they're interested in is scheming who they will hand the North over to in 2033. And they are scrambling to be vice president. Well, we are waiting for them. We, the citizens, will not allow this nonsense. Every one of us, including my last surviving aunt, who is 88, will go and vote for a candidate she prefers. Will not be dictated by anybody.
All right, Professor. Let's take the naivety of the Southern Governors Forum aside. Now, since 1999, I'm supposed to ask you the last question, but I want to ask you this before the last question. Since 1999, there have been an unwritten agreement, a gentleman agreement, where power shifts from one place to the other in the interest of national integration and national unity. So let's take away the word you ascribe to Southern Governors, naivety. So don't you think there should be a shift in power to ensure national unity and integration, irrespective of what anybody says or how the person is saying it?
So
for that sense of belonging.
Where are you from?
I'm from Oyo State.
Oyo State. So if you have a governor
from Oyo State,
I'm saying if you have a governor from Oyo State, your life is going to be better.
Of course, it's not true, but
let me tell you. No, let me tell you. And we're doing all this nonsense. It is us, the elite. It's us, the elite. The poor man in Kasana, where I come from, and Kankia, and Inewe, Arondizogu, and Igboho, where we went to 2-3 weeks ago.
Oyo State.
Their lives are the same.
Yes.
Their lives are the same. They are eking for a living.
Whether the Kasina man is president
or not. It is us, the elites, who want to balkanize this nation, restructure it, so we get our peace. Rotation is unconstitutional. We are a constitutional democracy. Our constitution recognizes 36 states and FCT. Our constitution does not say anything about rotation. And fellow Nigerians, let me tell you, the North, we have voted for 3 Southerners without being threatened, without the gun put to our head.
Good.
We voted Obasanjo. We voted who? Abiola. Who did Abiola beat? Abiola beat Tofa. From where? From Kano. Kano has the largest vote. And we voted who next? Jonathan. Jonathan from the smallest state in the country. 8 local governments. 8 local governments is the smallest state. He's not an Ijaw, he's a minority of a minority. So let nobody tell us in the North who to vote for. We must do this. We are smart enough to decide who we will vote for, and our vote must count. And let no governor, North, South, East, or West, come and tell us anything, because they've all failed their people.
All right, Professor. Lastly, let me ask you a question you are not expecting. Go ahead. But for posterity. 2 years ago, you were asked to leave as Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Agency. And years later, we discovered that there are still complaints about NHIS, even without you. And we have seen reports about you making more money for the NHIS. Was it that the president was deceived to remove you, or that what actually happened? Because even when you were removed, we didn't see you suffer any punishment. So what happened? Tell Nigerians.
Go and ask the president. It's been 2-3 years, and this is what I tell people. NHIS, and my wife said, you guys should stop always referring NHIS to me. Tell them to take out NHIS. So for me, NHIS is in my rear view mirror. I just see it behind. I went. I did what I gotta do. I fought corruption. I tried to do the right thing.
The corruption fights you back.
I did what I needed to do, but I did it, and I'm okay. I'm happy. The only person I need vindication from is God Almighty.
Okay. Did the president actually, or did the government punish you for any wrongdoing? You are accused of wrongdoing.
Yeah, let them prove it.
You have not been punished.
No,
so you didn't commit anything.
No. Let them do it. And the nonsense I took as a chief executive from the press that were paid. I did this. If anybody opens his mouth and say I do anything, I hope to God that he can go to a court of law and defend that nonsense.
The leadership newspaper,
No,
they
no,
made
no.
neutral.
No. It's not whether they're neutral or whatever. I'm asking anybody that if he finds that I've taken a single penny,
After all, you are not on
and
trial.
he cannot prove it, I will tie his ass with lawsuit. I left where I came from to come and serve this country.
Oh my God.
And I had options. I still do have options. NHIS for me was, I did the right thing. NHIS money is money that's meant to make an impactful difference in the lives of our people.
Exactly.
What I meant is nobody's interested. I did my part. What the president did or didn't do is up to him and posterity.
You are from the same Katsina State with
No,
him.
no, no.
Have you met
forget
him
it.
since
Forget
then?
it.
You have not met?
So you see, people say, oh, before I got this job, never met him in my life, never set eye on him. He's not one who does things for you. I never met him.
You were
And
nominated on merit.
since then, I have no reason to see him, no reason to beg any human being on this earth. None. So NHIS for me, forget it. I mean, it's gone, it's past. I've moved on.
So do you consider an option of throwing your hat into the political ring in 2023?
Into as what? As the
Governor of Katsina
as the
State,
head of
member House of Reps,
leadership.
Senator, Katsina North. No, there are many options. Professor.
No. I'm telling every Nigerian politics, we should not leave the space to these rascals.
So people like you.
And that's why we are where we are. Everybody must get involved. How do you get involved? You don't have to stand for an election. I'm here speaking and talking on behalf of our people that have been left behind in Zamfara and everywhere. That is politics. Medicine is politics on a larger scale.
Exactly.
That's why we see the sufferance of our people.
Right.
So yes, we are involved, and NHIS in the past politics,
Now,
we are in it. We will continue to be on it.
and peace
hold our
advocacy.
leaders on
many
accountable.
thanks to you, Professor Usman Yusuf, a Nigerian professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. We hope to see more of you at the Leadership Podcast too.
But then before you sign him up, we just had a comment from Adebayo Amoju. And he says, good morning to the professor and brilliant presenters. What do you think about this present government's high appetite for borrowing and VAT controversy? Professor? It's directed at you.
Yeah, so my question is, what are they borrowing for? What are they borrowing for? And what they borrowed, is it used for what it was meant to be used? Nigerians, you, the president, need to ask questions. The National Assembly, whatever the president takes to them, they approve. We are going to be left, our grandchildren will be left with debt. Yeah, they say they're building infrastructure. Infrastructure is not the most important thing for my people. What my people need is security. Infrastructure where? We've never seen any infrastructure anywhere in the north. So let's stop this infrastructure shenanigan and invest in people. Obasanjo said if you're borrowing to spend on recurrent expenditure, the reality is Nigeria is broke.
Right,
that's why we're borrowing. This is the honest truth.
For want of time, we have to end the discussion here, and we hope to see more of you, Professor. Thank you very much for coming. Professor Usman Yusuf is a professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. Winifred, it's time to go.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Prof. Sir. It was a pleasure hosting you on the program. You really have so much to say, and we hope to see more of you on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, listener out there, keep a day with us tomorrow for another edition of Inside Nigeria. My name is Bodi Badibo. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.